we will resolve the water crisis that we have.
So I just found out I'm no longer from Reinet. I'm from Sobukwe town. It sure is better than what they named East London.
They could have just simply, you know what I'm saying? They could have just got better water, fixed the electricity situation. Instead, they make stoops and they change the name. Come on, man. Whose idea was this?
Reinet just became Robert Sobukwe Town. To recognize Robert Sobukwe, would it not have been better to build a school in his name? Would it not have been better to build a training center in his name?
Well, we see this repeat itself every 4 or 5 years just before an election. Then suddenly we have name changes to try and hide the incompetence of different local governments who couldn't deliver services to the people. And then they try to change names, and we've been at the receiving end of this now for 30 years, and I think that's been enough.
Now, I don't know how the Freedom Front Plus got on black and colored people's radar. You think this name change is about the money that could have gone towards infrastructure and whatever?
Hello and welcome to the channel. Let's take a look at these stories. There's a lot happening around South Africa, a lot of things that Cyril Ramaphosa has to touch on at the South African State of the Nation address, known as the SONA at Cape Town's City Hall. That just goes to show, but that's a story for another day. But the biggest and most contentious issue also that is consuming a lot of people's minds is the approvals of the renaming of over 20 places around the country that will be getting brand new names. We touched on it the other day. We'll take a look at the thoughts and sentiments around all of that from the locals, the DA, the Freedom Front Plus, and of course, you know, those in positions of power who can influence what happens next, even in things like this. Let's take a look at this. What is it exactly? Is it just about redressing and putting a bandage on South Africa's history, or is it about making real change that will actually make a difference in people's lives? All that money. What are your thoughts on how this can be resolved? Let's take a look at these thoughts and sentiments. Please give this video a thumbs up in support of this channel. Take a look at this further.
The issue here is that the Freedom Front Plus, part of the Government of National Unity, are upset about the possibility of Reinet being changed, the name change of a town, to Robert Sobukwe Town. And they are saying Reinet will stay Reinet. So like I say, it's a Government of National Unity thing. And yeah. But for me, what I take great pleasure in is a while ago I read Lie on My Wounds, and that is correspondence of Robert Sobukwe while he was in prison. And I mean, the amount of grace, the wit that he shows in those letters, but his sense of humor was something that struck me in those letters, despite what he was going through. And I'm just imagining, and as I say, it gives me great pleasure imagining him looking down on this whole debacle and thinking, I'm still giving these people chest pains.
Is that the town of Reinet is a very important town. And it's not only about Reinet, the other towns mentioned as well are just as relevant, whether it's Aberdeen, whether it's Argendorp, or any of those that remain just as relevant. At the moment, we have very limited resources in South Africa. Instead of doing service delivery, instead of getting the infrastructure going and creating jobs, we are trying to have this kind of tokenism, which I don't think takes anything further. We've been cooperative in this for about 30 years, but now we've had enough, and we are not going to recognize this name changes at all.
So is the issue then, Mr. Mulder, that you see this as an erasure of Afrikaner history, or that you feel that it's money that could have been better spent elsewhere? Because the previous point is what you reflected in your statement that I was looking at online.
No, it's both. It's both of them. You can look at any map of the Eastern Cape and you will find maybe one or almost none Afrikaans names as part of that province. So slowly but surely we are just being eradicated.
Really, we want to erase your ancestors. These ones are so quick to say 30 years ago, but we must still be confronted with Voortrekker and Van Tonder and Van Riebeeck and even freaking Rhodes Memorial.
How's it, guys? It's me, Kath. I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, I said to my followers, now that you know what the ANC really is about, and this is about a year ago, are you still going to vote for the ANC? And after everything that's happened since then, these people are coming out and saying they're voting for the ANC. If you tell me you're going to vote for the ANC because it's a black president, then say that. But don't sit there and tell me that a white man can never rule this country again. The black man, in this case Cyril Ramaphosa, is president, and he doesn't care about the country or the state of it. Those people that ask me or tell me or instruct me that, you must vote ANC, and soon as a black man doesn't want to and wants to vote for a person like Peter Groenewald, who deserves it, then you attack him because he's not racist, because he sees the truth. You are numbly, look it up, voting for the ANC because, the ANC is black, so let's vote for them. That's what you're doing. And then you got the cheek to tell me or tell my black followers who agree that Cyril Ramaphosa must be impeached, that they're racist. It's just so weird to me. How old are you? If you're young, you haven't seen what this country should be like, what it was before 1994. We had one of the most beautiful lands in the world, and we were rich because of all our minerals. They raise everything just so that they can steal from you, and yet you vote for them. So, especially if you anonymously vote for, tell me about the ANC, I'd like you to explain why. Take color out of it, because this has got nothing to do with color. Take that right out of it. Pretend Cyril's white. And then ask yourself, what is the state of this country? And what was the state of the country in the 80s? Before the 1994 ANC, whatever. Don't you want a president that does something right for you? Excluding Cyril, excluding Zuma. None of them have done anything but steal. And it's been proven in the commission. So do me a favor. If you don't have the facts to back up why you're going to vote ANC, then rather not keep quiet. Or I'll just delete your comment because it's pathetic.
FFPlus says it will not stop calling, or it will not call Reinet by the town's new name, which is Robert Sobukwe. The party has urged residents of the Eastern Cape Town and all South Africans, in fact, to reject the proposed name change, calling it a clear case of cultural imperialism which erases Afrikaner history under the guise of social cohesion.
What more reason do you need to see that this is a party that does not care about everyone? They don't care about moving this country forward as a unified nation. All they care about is protecting their Afrikaner culture, protecting their grand idea of self-determination in creating an Afrikaner Volksstaat. And maybe I should make a video about the Afrikaner Volksstaat so people can actually understand why they are pushing so hard for Cape independence. This is not a party, and regardless if you are white, you're brown, you're black, pink, green, whatever color you might be, this is not the party to move South Africa forward.
Viva Freedom Front Plus, viva! Hey, mina ngikhathala ukuthi ubani uthini, wonke umuntu une-opinion yakhe, unombono wakhe. Mina la ngikhona, ngila ekuthenini ngeke ngidlale umuntu omnyama ofana nami for over 31 years. Engambhekelela umuntu wakubo kuphela nje qhumiza isu ugcwala amaphakethe. Hey, abasenze lutho. Ngithi mina viva Freedom Front Plus, viva. And ngiyazi bakhona bazongeseka ngoba ngiyazi uzoswa ngisell out, uzoswa wini. Kodwa uma umbuza ukuthi njengamanje nje wena njengamanje unani ku community yakho nje akhona amapaki, akhona amanzi aclean njengoba abantu behlukunyezwa ngamaVaterikani kodwa abavotela uhulumeni wabantu abamnyama ukuthi usize abantu abamnyama. Uyabona, ningenzi futhi sengazathi manje thina ukuvotela abelungu nama supporters of Freedom Front Plus barongi or ba sell out as if abantu abasiholayo njengamanje benza yonke into esemandleni ukuthi benze sure ukuthi wonke umuntu la eSouth Africa right. Abakwenze lokho. Yabo kuyaluthwa nje iphente yenziwa iyaluthwa nje. So ngeke umblame umuntu mase decide ukuthi no. Yena because manje akusekho ukuthini sekumele ucabangele ikusasa lengane manje oyizele ukuthi mangathiwa ikhulela ezweni nobuholi obunje kuzokwenzakalana. Kuzothathwa ingane la ziyodayiswa le emazweni o-Europe phesheya kwelwandle through trafficking evunyelwayo ngamabomu abaholi bethu. Hayibo bakuthani kahleni. Viva Freedom Front Plus, viva.
Well, there you have it. Those are some of the thoughts and sentiments coming through there. Please do follow them on our social media platforms to get a broader sense of what they had to say in these matters. As you know, we do cut them shorter rather, so that we can just get enough for us to continue the conversation on this channel. There is a lot that is happening in South Africa, and as usual, there will be some people in South Africa, thank goodness for those that actually put up their hand to speak against any injustice in society. As you know, the Eastern Cape is in the middle of a redress, or should I say a makeover for some of their towns, such as Port Elizabeth, that is getting a new name, Kugompo City, and of course, and the inner lands just on the outskirts of the Eastern Cape. Another name change is happening, and the Freedom Front Plus has come out to say, look here, you will call it the old names, we're not taking in any new names because we can reject it. Remember that previously Freedom Front Plus also did bring an application against some of the media outlets such as the SABC for using Tshwane. Remember that one? That didn't go so well. What are the prospects of this one going well? But in the midst of this name change that was approved according to reports by the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, that is Gaten Mackenzie, all that is left now is for it to be gazetted. Now the question is, was there enough public consultation about these names? And in fact, a lot of people are saying, what's in the name? People want jobs. People want, economic activity. People want things that will assist them to make a better life for themselves. What are your thoughts on this? Please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us on this one. Let's meet on the next video. Bye.